I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? Travis Scott is under hot water and he's blowing off steam when it comes to how hot this track is, or it's about to go number one. The song 4x4 that he released a music video to last week, and it's set to debut at number one. And it has the biggest U.S. physical sales week of any single this decade, so the past 5 years. So it got 278 points, and as we know, if a song is purchased, whether it be physical or whatever the case may be, it counts far more than radio play, and it counts far more than streams. That's how 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj were able to get their number one, because people were really buying the records. So it sold 168,000 copies. It streamed 16.2 million times, and radio counted for 2.9 million. Now, I will say this, because people are saying, oh, how'd this mid-song chart at number one or debut at number one? I love this song. One thing that we have to give credit for is Travis Scott's attention to detail and creativity when it comes to music videos has been mainstay throughout his career, from the OG Lovesick in 2011 was it, to rodeo music videos, to 90210, to Sicko Mode, to hell, just Travis Scott music videos are incredible, and this video was incredible. I love this song, and I want to compare this song to another number one that Travis Scott has had in the past, because this isn't the first time he's used this method. Shout out to Travis Scott. I like what he's doing. He's pushing to see, hey, I've got this strong fan base. Who can match me? Like, if pop artists are bigger than Travis Scott, why can't they do this and sell as much? Because they don't have fan bases that are as fervent in collecting Travis Scott memorabilia, which is going to be a thing in the future. But if you guys remember Highest in the Room, this is a song that, unlike 4x4, I personally thought, what the hell is this finessing nonsense? I don't know if I still have a video up from when I first talked about Highest in the Room going number one. I said this song does not deserve number one. It's not a number one type song. I thought it was just a decent song, but over time, I've come to love that song. That song has some of the most replay value of any Travis Scott song for me. I play it so frequently, but I wouldn't even call it my favorite Travis Scott song either. So that song debuted at number one, and it only spent 1 week at number one, but it spent 22 weeks overall on the charts, which is solid for a song. And that song has accumulated so many streams. It's at like 2 billion streams on Spotify right now. Highest in the Room. That was not a smash hit. Travis Scott has a lot of these sleeper songs that, in this case, Highest in the Room, they finessed the number one. But over time, people just start to listen to it more and more and more and enjoy it a lot more. The same thing I would say with Butterfly Effect. When Butterfly Effect came out, it was a great song, but it wasn't a top 10. If I look at the chart history of Butterfly Effect, I don't even know where it peaked at. Yeah, peak position for Butterfly Effect was 50 on the charts, and it spent 23 weeks on the charts. Yet, how many streams does it have? 1.6 billion. There are number one songs that don't even have 1.3 billion streams, or even a billion streams at times. So this song was another example of a sleeper. Now, they didn't finesse a number one for this because the peak position was 50, which means that it continued to get streams at a consistent basis year after year after year. Now, one of the songs that we got a clown that debuted at number one was Travis Scott and Kid Cudi, The Scotts. They finessed the hell out of that song. They did the same method that they did with Highest in the Room and what was it? Most recently, 4x4. But this song, it stayed on the charts for 13 weeks. It was number one for a single week, but this did not pan out the way that, I don't know, maybe they had anticipated. They were supposed to, it's got nearly 1 billion streams. So that's another example of how strong Travis Scott streams over time. That's the most important part, because if you've got radio play and you've got a TikTok trend and you've got all these other things going on and the streams are consistent or going up for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, that's cool. But if the next year or two, it just stalls out after dropping a lot, that's not a good thing. But with the Scotts, this thing has 832 million. There was some sort of hype that there was going to be an album or mixtape, some sort of collaboration between the two, but there isn't. And this is why it's beautiful to look at, because if you look up the Scotts on Spotify, it's a group. So they have their own Spotify profile, and it has 2.1 million monthly listeners. So there's 2.1 million monthly listeners for one song, which just shows you how frequently this song is streamed. And I think this was more of a gift of Travis Scott to Scott Mescudi, Cudi in this case, with his first number one. That was Kid Cudi's first number one ever. So this is something that Travis has continued to do. 4x4, I think, is the best out of all of these. Off rip, Franchise was another one that they did this with, if you guys remember. Franchise was where they did the music video at Michael Jordan's old crib in Chicago that he was trying to sell. And that was on the charts for around 9 weeks. It was the song with Young Thug and MIA. That was another finesse number one. That song, I don't think it did that well over time when we take a look at the numbers. I enjoyed the MIA version because I think they had a version with MIA and without. Yeah, it's got 300 million streams. So in comparison to these, and it came out the same year, it came out 2020. So this was when Travis Scott was going nuts on this. He dropped Franchise, that was a number one. He dropped The Scotts that same year, which was a number one. And he dropped Highest in the Room. Was that in 2020? No, that was in 2019, end of 2019. So this is something that's recurring by Travis Scott. And I personally think 4x4 is the best out of all of these number ones. I enjoy 4x4. Do I enjoy it more than the Scotts? No. My first impression of 4x4 with the music video too is better than the first impression I had of the rest of these songs. Now that's subject to change because I could listen to 4x4 for a couple more weeks and say, man, this is boring, this sucks, or I'm not really interested in listening to this anymore. It ran its course for me, which Highest in the Room has still not run its course for me, or Butterfly Effect. And that's just another example. Butterfly Effect has been out for longer. It came out in 2017, so it's had more time to accumulate streams. But some people were disappointed because no songs on Utopia went number one. I don't think Travis Scott really cares that much because he can just run up a number one like this. Sure, Fiend, with the hype that it's had and how frequently that song is played, the impact that it's had, the amount of weeks it's spent on the charts. It's been like 32 weeks on the charts, and it peaked at number 5. Should it have gone number one? Yeah, that would have been another number. Would that have been the first number one for Cardi? I'm not sure. I'm not going to look it up. But it's either the first or the second. And that song is a great song. Was a great song. And there are amazing songs on Utopia, which I hope now we're appreciating Utopia a lot more than when it first came out. People were saying, this is kind of mid. This isn't as good as Astroworld. Would I put it as good as Astroworld? I don't know. But I love Utopia. I listened to at least 1 or 2 tracks off that. I listened to the version of My Eyes. You guys know the extended version. I've been listening to that since the first. That was my favorite song the first day that this project came out, or the first day that I was able to listen to it. And it just goes to show that there are certain songs that you can try to make stick, but they just won't. For example, the first single that they were going to try to make for Utopia was K-pop. Some people are probably like, oh shoot, I totally forgot about that song. Yeah, Bad Bunny, Travis Scott, and The Weeknd. 3 superstars on a song. That song is getting outstreamed by Telekinesis with SZA and Future, which is they're going through a lawsuit for that now. It got outstreamed by I Know. Meltdown, obviously Drake, is huge, but My Eyes is outstreaming that almost 2 times as much as K-pop. And K-pop has stars on it. It just didn't resonate the way that maybe they had anticipated. So they pivoted quickly and then they dropped the album. The album did amazing. So I love Utopia. And even though Travis Scott is, let's say, finessing a number one, the number one is also promotion for the song. So if the song doesn't resonate with people, it's going to fall off the charts, just like K-pop did, and it's going to be a thing in the past, just like Franchise did. And if it doesn't, and it stays, like Butterfly Effect did, even though Butterfly Effect didn't go number one, or Highest in the Room did, which it did go number one, or The Scotts did, which it did go number one, then it all ended up working out. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. What do you think about the song and the music video? Do you really not like it? Because I like the song. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.